from the Cajun capital of the world.
I'm the average Lafayette, Louisiana kid.
See, I'm back on my...
Hey, fellas. Hey, Raging Review said, congratulations. Say what's up, y'all. Yeah!
People that have courage don't have no extra gene. There's no difference in you. The difference is, are you going to sit down when it's time to stand up?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another happy edition of Rage and Review. We got Jerry, we got Lane holding down the fort at the tailgate. I am Nicholas, and the Cajuns get the win, 30-27 over the ULM, or should I say Monroe Warhawks. Boys, what can we say? This is literally what we have done all season. But Jerry, the bottom line is we're bowl bound, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, as I'm wearing my Woody costume after we go trick-or-treating, we're sitting with a 2-6 record, wondering how much worse could it get, right? I mean, at one point, we were questioning, are we going to win one more game, or we're going to finish the season 4-8? And I think it was after the Southern Miss game where people were asking me why I was so silent, and you said it's because of apathy. I was just apathetic with a 2-5 start. And here we are over a month later, 6-6, not the record we wanted, but good enough to make the postseason to become bowl eligible for the 8th straight year in a row. The resiliency of this team, look, we'll talk about the positives and the negatives tonight, but I will say the resiliency of this football team coming in with a 2-6 record, winning 4 in a row, which I believe Cole said we had a 4% chance of doing the week of the South Alabama game. To see them fight back and claw their way into the postseason, what more can you say? Like I said, not what we wanted this year, as far as, we wanted to win a conference championship. But look, I guess you're able to kind of clean up a mess that you started. So good win today. Always fun to beat ULM. Not the prettiest, but I'll take it.
Jerry, we're going to take a quick timeout. Thank our sponsors. When we come back, we will preview the game, or I guess preview the post preview of the game. I don't know what you call it. We're going to take a look at the game, how it broke down, and then we'll get to our callers in just a bit. So, let's take a quick timeout. We'd like to thank the following partners who make Rage and Review possible. Our title sponsor, the Best Stop Family Market, with locations in Katy and Baytown, Texas, Toledo Bend, Karen Crow, and of course the official location opened in 1986 in Scott. Visit the Best Stop and ask about the Rage and Review tailgate platters. Gulf Coast Bank, title sponsor of the Tailgate Show every Saturday, 3 hours before kickoff. Planet Radio 106.7, Lafayette Roofing, The Yard Goat, Yes Please Branding and Marketing, Old Time Grocery, Stride Safety Solutions, Eat Lafayette, brought to you by Lafayette Travel, Rage and Hydration, and Dr. Brett Venable at Recovery Chiromed. And we'd also like to thank our Patreon sponsors listed here. For only $2 a month, you too could have early access to uncut interviews before they air here on our shows. You also get an exclusive Patreon icon next to your name on Cajun Threads, the official message form for Rage and Review. If you are interested in joining as a Patreon, visit us at patreon.com/Rage and Review. Thanks to all of our corporate and Patreon sponsors for making this show possible. Guys out there giving me the word. I was looking for a recap. I don't know, man. I've been drinking. Look, I got there early. I wasn't supposed to go to the tailgate today, but I decided to man up because, one, we were feeding the Cajun equipment crew. And by the way, they gave me these sweet threads. They hooked us all up with some sweet OG original UL authorized stuff, which is amazing. So we got some swag from those guys. We had Albina going out there, which we're going to talk about him later. And then I just wanted to be around our people, man. This is the last tailgate of the season, so had to get out there, found a way to do it. And yeah, so I've been hitting the bottle a little bit this morning. But Jerry, let's talk about the game itself. I'll go over some quick stats, then let you run through the scoring. It was not pretty, if we're being all honest. Of course, the Cajuns eke out the 30-27 win in overtime. ULM had 311 passing yards, 205 rushing yards for a total of 516, which is inexcusable for this defense. Louisiana had 338 yards total, 126 passing, 212 rushing. Cajuns were 3 for 25 in penalties, 8 for 52 yards for ULM. The Warhawks had 29 first downs versus the Cajuns 17 first downs. And, really the thing that stood out to you is the average yards per play. ULM had 6.8 yards per play, the Cajuns 5. And then for completions, I mean, anytime Armenta threw it up, somebody caught it. For ULM, 16.4 yards per completion, Louisiana 7.5. No turnovers for Louisiana, 2 fumbles, 1 loss for ULM. Time of possession relatively even at 30 minutes for the Warhawks, 29-39 for the Cajuns. Jerry, let's talk about the beginning of this game. Looked like it was getting off to a good start. And when my dad saw the first play of the game, he goes, and in his Cajun voice, man, I don't like when we do that. That means that it's going to be bad going forward. Who knew the man knew what he was talking about?
I thought the opposite. I mean, Lane was sitting next to me in our seats. We were talking to the fans sitting around us. I said, look, we got a lot more time to score a lot more where that came from. I mean, that was a hell of a kickoff return. And so, I mean, I thought at that point, let the track race begin. And, what bothered me was this was a ULM offense that came into this game scoring 14, 15 points a game. And they marched down the field on us on that following drive and scored at will. And that was a little worrisome for me. They came in with a lot more fire than we did. I felt like they came in and this was treated as their bowl game. I got to give credit to Brian Vincent. I felt like he motivated this team and it showed. It showed on the first drive when they marched down the field and threw the ball down the field on us to tie it. So yeah, I mean, I thought the game was going to be a blowout from the opening kickoff because I just thought on paper we were a much better team. But when they got the ball, I think I felt like we were in for a long day after that because they came to play.
Yeah, they had a fumble. We got the ball, converted that, I think, into a field goal later on in the game. There was a turnover on downs later in the game as well. But ULM with 2 straight touchdowns in the middle of the second quarter really kind of took it to the Cajuns. And look, we knew that they could not kick a field goal, man. We knew that. We knew that ULM could not kick a field goal. Hell, he was struggling to get it through the uprights on the extra points, which he missed on the first one. But you felt like if the game came down at the end, Jerry, to kicking a field goal or scoring a touchdown, you felt like, okay, we can get it through the uprights from at least 25, 30, 35 out. And that's what it came down to. But it's just crazy to me that it came to that point. And I don't know why it's crazy to me, because every game we have won this season has come down to the last play of the game. And that's exactly what we did yet again. So I don't know why I'm shocked by it. I mean, am I dumb to be shocked by this?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm in the group text right now, going back and forth with one of our friends. And look, the reality is we didn't outside of the opening kickoff, we did not start the game well. We didn't start the game well. We didn't look ready to play. ULM looked more ready to play than us. That's okay to admit that. But at the end of the day, we didn't play well. I'm just going to say that. Is that too much? Is that going overboard?
I don't think we played well. Lane, do you think we played well? I don't think anybody will say, man, we really played well that game. It's not the game to do it. This is not the game that you point out and say we played a really good game. I think we played a good game against JMU. We lost it. I think we still played a pretty good game against USM. Lost that game. But we play ugly games and win. Hey, better an ugly win than a pretty loss, I guess, is what we've learned this season. But you felt like you had the opportunity, like you said, to blow out ULM. because they're ULM, bro. Like, if we're talking about teams that are injured, we can't use that injury excuse against ULM. They're way more injured than we are. And somehow we let 3 players beat us most of this game.
But how is it last weekend we go play an Arkansas State team that, you know, I know ULM beat them earlier in the year, but if you look on paper, Arkansas State has a more high-powered offense than ULM does. And so, you know, how is it that we're able, with suspensions, by the way, are able to hold a high-powered Arkansas State offense to 16 points the entire game? Their offense, right? I know they scored 30, but their offense to 16 points. And then in the first 2 drives, we give up 2 touchdowns. I mean, that was concerning to me. And you know, I didn't expect a letdown to an offense like ULM, but let's be honest, I thought defensively we let an otherwise very average ULM team gash us in those first 2 drives. Now, granted, we made the adjustment, but it was definitely not the start that I had hoped for with this defense and the way our defense had played these last 3 or 4 games.
I mean, I love Dan McDonald, but he was, you know, bragging them up to sound like they were the best team we played all season, and their defense was top 10 in the country. And look, I mean, their defense was better than I expected them to be. I mean, I think they bullied us for a lot. They outplayed us for most of the game. So I give them credit there, but they're still freaking Monroe, bro. They're still a team that has won 3 games this season. Like, I don't know.
They were 3-8, man. They were 3-8 with.
But then again, we're 5-6. That's only two. You know, we only have 2 more wins than they do, so we can't exactly brag on how good we are.
I'm not saying that, but we were also on a 3-game win streak. They were on, I believe, a 6-game losing streak or something like that, or a 7-game losing streak going into this game. So if you really compare the 2 places of where both of these football teams were, one was on the upward trajectory, us. They were on the downward slope to where you would think they would have cashed in by this game. And they looked like the team that was 5-6, and we looked like the team that was 3-8. I mean, we could not run the football on them in that first half. I mean, Zylan, Perry, and Bill had trouble getting past to their second level of a defensive line, which, by the way, I said earlier in the week that their defensive line was good, but at the same time, I expected us to run the ball a lot better. I mean, their running backs gashed us in the first half multiple times, and they beat us on the edge quite a few times as well. That was the more disappointing thing for me. I thought that they actually used the flat a lot more effectively than I expected. Their receivers did a really good job blocking in many ways. And look, to Bryce's point, you know, Bryce and I think, yeah, Brady and Misty Boudreaux and even Bryce, you know, look, they didn't have a field goal kicker. They're like on kicker number 6. Okay. If you look at their kickoffs, none of them can kick the ball off, right? If they actually had a field goal kicker, we're probably sitting here discussing how we have a 5-7 record and how our season just ended. So look, I'm happy we won. Okay. I am happy we won. I am ecstatic we ended this season on a 4-game win streak and we get to go to a bowl game. Am I happy with the performance today? No, I'm sorry. I'm not. And so, I mean, look, I get the ugly win thing and I understand that, but I'm not happy with the way we played. I'm happy with the way that we got the job done when it mattered, but I'm not going to give this team an A+ today for the way they played. I'm not. I'm sorry. Like, it just was not up to par to the standard I thought we were capable of against a depleted 3-8 football team, no matter if it's Monroe or not. You know, it was sloppy, Nick. Yeah, it was sloppy.
And I think we, you know, the message we're trying to get out, I mean, that I am, is we got to play a lot better against the bowl team, no matter who it is. Even if it's Louisiana Tech that we play in a bowl game, we got to play much better than we did tonight against them. But then again, we probably will, and we probably eke it out in the last minutes of the game. So, you know, I think this team is just the one that's going to make you pull your head out. I don't know what else to say there. Let's go ahead and turn it over to some of our callers. Lane, if you want to get the boys on here, if any of them want to chime in on the game, feel free to let them or chime in yourself. But let's go to Terry Johnson first. Terry. Wait, hold on. I got to find your sound. Hold on. Yeah.
Jesus, dude, figure it out.
There we go. I'm on a new board here. This one's not marked. What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. 10 tries the charm. You know, I know you struggle behind those buttons. But I'm frustrated. I'm happy that we won, and I'll guess I'll sunshine pump. I'll be the sunshine pumper for the first little bit.
Sunshine pump because Jaden Duggar's listening, baby.
Great game, man. Great game. Dez and this staff have really took the brunt of it the first, few games of the season. And, we question the effort of the team. We question the play calling, which, we still are questioning the play calling positions that these players still are put in, the recruiting level. And we were just wondering, like, is this the right way that our program is teetering towards? And clearly, these guys show that they love playing for this. They love playing for this team, for this school. And I appreciate that as a former player. I appreciate the effort that I've seen the second half of this season, because it hasn't been easy. It honestly hasn't. If this team can get to 7 wins, I can forgive how, with the bowl trophy, I can forgive how the beginning of this year played out. Shout out to Walker. He came in, and I don't think Dez set Walker up with the plays that they gave him. But honestly, when you got a quarterback that hasn't been playing for a while, it's hard to do that, to come up with the rhythm. And I know Lunch was kind of hurt at the end. Do y'all know if it was his thrown hand or his offhand or something? That's something holding his hand. Y'all know?
No, I don't know. I'd have to look at. Do you know, Lane?
No, but it didn't look like he would be able to continue in the game, which is why they brought Walker in. And I was surprised. At that point, I didn't realize. I thought they were just bringing him in because we weren't moving the ball well, and they wanted to give Walker an opportunity. But after reevaluating everything, I realized that he had been injured at some point within the last drive before he came out.
Yeah, the only thing I saw was when he was on the sideline, he was holding his arm holds his hand kind of weird. So I don't know if that's just how he was standing. But I think, a couple times in this game, we were like, is Des going to get him killed today? Because he looked like he was struggling a little bit. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, with the way that, and y'all gotta understand this, ULM and this is back then when I was playing with ULM's personnel is not as good as most teams in any conference. So what they throw a lot of funky looks at you on defense. Like they'll give you like 3-down linemen, but it looks kind of like 4-down linemen. So blocking scheme's kind of weird. Double teams don't happen the way they usually happen, and sometimes they'll throw in like a 3-3 stack, at you. And there was one time they had like it was like 3-down linemen, 2 linebackers, one safety in the middle, and that one safety in the middle could make the plays. They schemed us very well running the ball. And yeah, I understand they're ULM, we should run all over them. Their scheme was very well placed against our offensive play call. Now we should have, I don't know why we didn't do any more perimeter plays. We threw one screen pass to Blanco that got us inside like the 5-yard line, and we stopped throwing screen passes. I don't know why we don't throw more screen passes when we can't run the ball, but it's killing. We kept running up the middle, could not get it. You got to do something else. But last thing I'll say is this, bro. Like Dez and this staff, Dez came in his first year not knowing what to do, not the man at the transfer portal. He went 6-7, 6-7, and then 10-2 in the regular season, right? When we look at last year, how last year ended within the regular season, 10-2. He had 22 wins in his first 3 seasons. You look over at North Texas, their coach starts 5-7, 6-7, and now they're 11-1, right? And they had 22 wins. This dude has 22 wins in his first 3 seasons, no different than Dez. This guy's looking for another job. And Dez loves this team enough to stay. And I know that I've criticized the staff and the administration on if Dez is the right move. I'm still going to support this guy. It's frustrating, but I'm still going to support him. So after the amount of success that he had last year and the success hopefully he can build, I appreciate that. And hopefully if we can return some good players for next year, we're going to be a good team. That's all I got to say for right now.
I appreciate you, Terry. Hold on there. Just mute yourself. And if you want to chime in later, of course, do it. I do want to, before we go to Dewan, because I know he's holding for a little while, I want to bring up this comment from Jonathan. He says, we lost over 7 O-line this year. Negative statements. If that has to stop the team showing up and play. Look, I don't think anybody here are saying that the team didn't show up today and play. I think, like Terry said, there were times where we didn't put Walker in a position to make a good play. It's times this season where on 3rd and 15, we run the ball up the middle on a quarterback draw for 3 yards. Or on 2nd and 25, we throw a 3-yard pass. I mean, stuff like that drives us nuts. And I know there's a whole, I guess, a whole way to kind of look at it from a coaching standpoint and saying, well, we're setting it up for this. But it's dude, we're pulling our hair out with the play calling. We're not saying the guys aren't trying. The guys who are trying are the only reason that we got to 6-6 this season. I just think sometimes we overthink things offensively that can work, and we do again like we 1st and 10, we throw a 40-yard pass that's incomplete. Then we're 2nd and 10, we do a quarterback draw up the middle, lose 2 on the play, and then 3rd and 15 or 3rd and 12, we run another quarterback draw for a gain of 3, and then we have to punt. That drives me nuts. I don't know what we're doing in those situations. I think that's what aggravates us a little bit more. Dewan, I don't know if you have any better insight into that, but unmute yourself and talk to us, buddy. What's going on?
Hey, what's up? How's it going, man? Appreciate
Good, man.
You guys for having me on.
Thanks.
Man, the first thing I want to say, when I joined the staff as a GA, one of the reasons why I went there is because I was looking for a place that had went through, some sort of adversity. I'm an Army veteran. I like being around, the underdog, being around people that's down and out and dig themselves out of that. And at that time, the staff obviously had went through the coaching change. They went through losing a lot of guys to, UF. And they found a way to get to 6 wins, which is incredibly hard. And once I saw that, I said, okay, yeah, when I got out of high school, this is where I went to school. So I wanted to do full circle and go back and finish. So I went there. I know a few weeks ago, like I said, I personally have trust in the guys and the staff in the building only because I've seen those guys work their ass off. And I know, the amount of work that gets put into that building on a day-to-day basis from Monday to even through Sunday. So I figured that they would be able to, pull it out. A couple of things I wanted to speak about. Of course, not, everybody's not happy with the win. I will say this: when it comes to adversity,
Hey, Dewan, I think we lost you, man.
Hello.
Yeah, there you go. Now we can hear you.
No such thing as moral victories, but when you win games like this, tough games, they do amount for a little bit more later down the line. And I understand growing up, it's like, hey, shit, man, it's ULM, right? They've been terrible since I was in freaking elementary, right? But, obviously those guys obviously came to play as well. But there are some things I want to speak about, and it's not to pump up anybody. It's just the facts that when it comes to football, there are facts. And some of the facts are a lot of those old linemen were out. And as an offensive unit, you cannot function highly without a consistent offensive line. And if you look back at the success of this program, they have come off of the back or more so the knees and ankles of the offensive line, right? We're talking about a plethora of guys that have gone on to the NFL. Well, that happened with a consistent, 6-7 guys. Whereas this season, that was not the case. Even last year, there was some consistency there as far as the O-line goes. But starting with the offensive line, these guys have went through a shit ton of injuries, to put it lightly, and it's been bad. And you guys know that as well. It's been really bad. It's really patchwork. The run game I think has been great, but it hasn't even reached its full potential because of the inconsistency of the offensive line, not due to the play, but due to, the people being injured in and out week after week. Some of those guys fought their way back. They may not have even been playing, but those guys are warriors. They're tough. They're tough as nails. They got back into to condition to be able to play, right? So for me, looking at that right there, going into the bowl game, this is going to be great. Those guys are going to be able to get extra practices. A lot of young guys are going to get extra practices. The second thing is the quarterback play. Going into this game, obviously the past 2 years, even going into the most successful seasons, there was a clear-cut guy, right? This year, that was not the case. There wasn't, we thought there was a clear-cut guy, right? And that just wasn't the case. So Lunch was a third-string quarterback. When I was a GA there, Lunch got very, 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 even with Levi Lewis, got very limited reps. And as a third, fourth-string quarterback, anywhere, that's what happened. So you guys have seen a lot of his success. That success is a lot on lunch. He has not been, prepped and gone through a whole off season as the guy, as the starter. That is going to look different. Now, I'm not an NIL guy. I never will be. I'm not sure how that's going to work in retaining him. But if he's able to come back and the offensive line does get some consistency, as far as the offense goes, you will see a much, much better product. And I think right now the product is pretty solid. It's pretty damn good. But a lot of these guys were forced into action, and they have performed well, right? They sink or swim situation, and they were swimming, right? They were swimming pretty damn well. Michael Phelps. But I think when you go into the off season, you keep these guys here. I'm not sure. I think Mr. Perry, I think he's going to be maybe going off for the NFL. I'm not exactly sure. That's going to be my guess. But as you guys saw, there's other running backs that are ready and able to step up. We haven't really seen Steven Blanco unleash yet. I'm really excited to see him.
Well, Blanco's gone. He ain't gonna be here next year.
Oh, you don't think he's gonna be here?
Well, I think we had people in the tailgate telling his family telling us that on the way out tonight. So
yeah, see that's always the tough thing, man. I remember talking to Harvey a couple of times at some St. Martinville games here. I live in St. Martinville. That's always the reality of football because he was very, upset about the targets and the catches and things like that. And maybe for Steven, he feels that, he can contribute, which he probably could. But hey, this is the thing, man. This has been running back you. This has been O-line you. So, for the guys that do wait their turn, obviously they are rewarded greatly for that. Not everybody can do that. That's not really an easy thing to do. Everybody is not Chandler Fields. That is very, very arduous to do, to be able to sit down and wait and see other guys, be successful in your position. Now, after him, the other running back who has been playing, he's been doing well. There's been another signee, 3-star running back. So those guys are going to be fine. I think the running game is going to be even better next year with the offensive line. Obviously that's going to be the bread and butter. I think the tight end play was pretty solid. They're going to be new tight ends. The receiver play, it hasn't been great. I think a lot of those guys were injured in and out. Shelton Sampson, I'm not sure what is his status on returning or anything like that, but I think he turned it on. One of the big things for me, negative, I will say, is the defensive line. The defensive line, the front seven, that hasn't been good.
We
at
got
all.
bullied tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if anybody's noticed, and I hate saying this because I don't like talking negatively about the guys, but as a football, and those guys helped elevate my coaching career. But as a football coach and as a fan of the program as well, if we're going to be honest, for the past 2 seasons, the front has not been actually since a couple of seasons, if we're going to be honest, they have not been getting home. They haven't, which in turn makes the secondary look very, very, very bad, man. I don't care what anybody says. ULM should not, and anybody can quote me, they should not be driving up and down the field in the air like that. They should not. Like you said earlier, they average 14 freaking points a game. There's no way.
They outgained us by almost 200 yards. Almost right. 200 yards of offense.
I could tell. I didn't look at the numbers, but you can tell just watching the game. To me, in my opinion, I just thought they shouldn't have scored that amount of time.
I agree.
There were too many explosive plays. We gave up too many explosive plays. Now, on the back end, I would be honest. No, the secondary is not perfect, and it hasn't been. There's no, there's a couple of standout guys that Brent Gordon. I hope he's able to be retained, right? But secondary, these quarterbacks that we've gone against, they have entirely way too much time. There's Jordan Lawson. He's not. He's the best of the group. He's not a pass rush extraordinaire guy. There's no designated pass rush guys, and especially in the Sun Belt Conference where we've seen, if I'm not mistaken, Marshall, right? They had a freaking first round or second round. I don't know what round he went. I can't remember the guy's name. Troy had 2 guys that were, really good at getting after the passer. But ever since Coach Lamar, I believe his name, the DC, after he left, there's just been the pass rush is just, and I don't know if that's attributed to just him, but there's nothing there, man. Right?
The drawback on Lamar was that his defense was soft as baby shit. He played 10 yards off the line, so
right.
That was the thing. That was a knock against him.
Yeah, they were playing too much shell coverage, not aggressive enough defense. But the crazy thing is with the pass rush, it's not just the pass rush. The rush defense also is not up to snuff, right? So that's kind of weird. Usually for a defense, it's either one or the other. It's, hey, our guys are not getting home to the quarterback, but hey, we can hang our hat on our front seven being able to run fit really well. Or it's, hey, our guys are not able to stop the run, but we do get to the passer occasionally. Whereas in this instance, it's kind of a bit of both, which is terrible. And I hate to say this, whoever said that was right. I hate to dwell and be negative, but if ULM did have a field goal kicker worth a damn, they would have taken.
We'd have been
kick
in
right
trouble. Oh yeah.
At the end, they would have taken a kick at the end. So that obviously, and like somebody attributed, Coach Dez, I believe, is doing a great job in using a portal. I think that's gonna have to get fixed. Just me talking about the future, because I'm really excited. I think if some of these guys stay, there was a lot of preseason hype, which is always crazy. But that's what happens when you play well. I think there should be some hype, but there also is a lot of holes as well. Like you guys saying, with some of these guys wanting to leave, that has to be replaced. The big elephant in the room, Walker Howard, that's going to have to be addressed, of course, because I'm pretty sure he still has the eligibility. Lunch has to be retained, right? It has to be retained. Can't have a not Levi Lewis. We can't have that situation.
Zion Chris.
Yeah.
Zion, we cannot have that, because I think that, in my opinion, I think that set back a lot of things. But the biggest thing for me is just, I think the front seven, because the linebacker core as well. I think that just has to get addressed with maybe some more, veteran guys that have some sort of production. I think if those two things happen, we can be potentially looking at, 9-10 win season for next year. But anyways, I'm gonna always, root for the guys regardless. I hope this bowl game is somewhere that's not too cold. I pray to God it's not in Shreveport, but and I do hope Louisiana Tech is the pony, because that's going to be real interesting. Those guys are playing some good ball up there. Of course, there's a lot of smack talk. I see you guys on social media. It is so hilarious when I see it. But man, that's just kind of my and then of course the coaching staff has to be retained as well. But that's just my 2 cents. I think there's a lot of positives to look forward in the future. Obviously, things have to change, and I think this coaching staff does a great job of, being honest and looking in the mirror and making those changes and making those adjustments.
Yeah.
I think that's how these guys got here to these 6 wins.
I agree with you, brother. I agree with you, man. Well, thanks for the call. We got to move on because we got other people waiting, but I do want to get to another comments, and just mute yourself, man. If you want to chime in later, go ahead and do it. Terry was asking, announced attendance was just over 16,000. The funniest thing is you had ULM fans trying to trash talk attendance, like of any school in the country.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah. Like, of all schools, if you're like App State, or if you're JMU and you want to trash talk attendance, that's justified because you pack your stadiums every weekend. If you're ULM and I can literally count the number of people in your stadium, don't even think about bringing up attendance trash talk to anybody.
And Southern Miss was too busy losing to Troy tonight to worry about us. So.
Oh, did they lose?
They did, yeah.
Oh, wow. Holy shit.
How did we lose to them? How did they go
with a 3-game lose? But you know what?
I mean, granted, how did we lose to Troy?
I know, but I'm not as I kind of feel bad.
They got shut out by freaking Old Dominion, and we couldn't beat them.
Y'all have cigars?
I just think, I feel worse. I feel bad enough for the fans, but like seeing Huff losing that game, losing 3 straight, not getting into the championship game. They thought they were getting the Sun Belt Coach of the Year, and this dude drops 3 straight to get them out the. I love it. Sometimes the world works, or the universe works in mysterious ways.
I want to clarify something because I don't think people really understand some of my comments. Look, I'm not trying to be negative about, we didn't play well and it's the end of the world. I am very happy that we got this 4-game win streak. I'm very happy that we came from a 2-6 start. It's okay to say we didn't play our best game today, guys. It doesn't mean like we won the game. You can win the game and still look sloppy. Okay, we looked sloppy today, and I love the fact in the second half that our guys stepped up. But also, too, I hate to say it, our coaches did not put us in the best positions to win. Walker goes in the second half. You got 1 minute and 40 seconds left, and you got the ball on your own 10-yard line, and those are the 3 plays that you call. I mean, I know it's here nor there now, but that's been the headache. That's been just making me want to pull my hair out all year. It just kind of peeked its head out a little bit. Sometimes we do think it's self-sabotage, but I will say, I will give credit. Our defense in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter, some of those key stops were huge. We didn't really let their run game get going late in the fourth quarter. So to anybody that's freaking out because I'm not ecstatic and popping fireworks that we won tonight. I know I'm not.
You're the one usually blowing fireworks.
I'm supposed to be popping fireworks. I'm happy we're in a bowl game, guys. Okay, I am. But at the same time, it's okay to say we didn't play our best game tonight. We did not. All right. It's okay to say that. It's okay to say that, guys.
I know.
Anyway,
I mean, it's just you can be happy and sad. At the
yeah,
same
I'm
time.
happy
I don't
we
know.
won. But I also, honestly, going in, and it's probably my fault, I did expect us to beat this team by a lot more than 3 points in overtime. I mean,
Yeah, I think we all expected that. That's what
Yeah.
we expect to do to ULM because they're trash.
Right.
But they were prepared to play us. And look, I
And
said it earlier.
give credit to them.
Well, give credit
They came
to them
to play.
because when you have nothing to play for, then in a game like this, you have everything to play for because there's nothing. I mean, you got to know Vincent had them ready to go. They just got a new AD. Vincent's got them ready to go. And hey, knock those jerks out of bowl contention. That's your bowl game right there. And thankfully that didn't do it. George, as we haven't played our best game all year, I feel the same way, man.
That is true.
We get close enough. We
yeah.
play some games kind of good for some of it and not good for the rest of it. So it's just a lack of consistency there, which has been the story of kind of the last 3 years under this regime. And then Harvey Broussard, I know Terry was asking, Harvey went over to Houston for a bag. When he was at Louisiana, he had in 2023, 317 yards and 2 touchdowns. In 24, 486 yards and 3 touchdowns. And this year at Houston, he has a total of 8 receptions for 114 yards and 1 tutty. He's gone from 24 catches to 31 catches to 8. But he got paid. In college, he could have a lot more. He'd have a lot more tape if you're here at UL, but when you have kids who don't grow up with a ton of money and you offer them $100,000 or something of that nature, they'll take it. And it's just, it's awful. Terry, real quick before we go on to the next speaker, what's going on, man? I guess Terry. Oh, there you are.
Yeah, look, so I was gonna do one. Look, I never expected to blow ULM out. I'm like, and call me negative. They always play us stuff. Like, I never expect to play these dudes in a blowout. It is frustrating that their quarterback was looking like, Patrick Mahomes out there and just throwing dimes all day. But that's what you get, bro. Like, if you call what you want, it's a rivalry. And some of my friends may not call it that, but they'll call it that. They're gonna play like it. And I guarantee you, if our players treated it like a rivalry, maybe it wouldn't like that. Because I've been on the losing end of ULM. I thought we were gonna blow them out. I was looking at the scoreboard dumbfounded my junior year. Like, how the hell did we lose to these dudes? Like, that's what happens when you don't give a team respect.
I know. This is true. And Vincent's a good coach, man. I'm telling you, I'm high on Brian Vincent. He's a good coach.
Yeah. I want to know what SJ Tui can do with his Michael Orr money and do for that program.
Yeah, even though they lied about it all, by the way.
Yeah, but they stole it from him, and they probably have it hidden away in some secret bank in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm from Oxford, guys. I'm from Oxford, right? I've heard so much stuff about that family. It's hilarious.
Well, we'll have to do our own pod on that one day. You'll be on Nick's triple take.
But yeah, that's all I have to say.
The Jensen's in the house. We got Mitch behind our buddy Lane out there. He looks like he's chatting it up. He looked like he was looking for me, right? Hey, tell Mitch to give me some love. Lane, turn around. Tell the man to give me some love. All right, there we go. Give me some love there, buddy. He and Shauna, he's lit. He's been out there all day. He's yelling something. We probably don't want to put that on air. CJ, you've been holding a while, man. What's going on? How are you? What you got to say?
Oh, I'm good. I don't actually have much to say tonight because, we won, and I have a lot more to say when we lose. I do want to say a couple things, though. First, with Walker Howard, I initially thought it was the same old BS that Des does, but turns out, according to JFit, Desmond Monroe on the QB change in the fourth. Lunch is hurt pretty bad. Lunch was hurt pretty bad early in the game. Quote, he tweaked something. So hopefully Lunch can get healthy for the bowl game. Secondly, I'm actually proud of the offensive line today. I don't think there was a single holding penalty. We didn't give up any sacks. And when you have, I don't know, Lunch is a mobile quarterback, but giving up no sacks is still pretty impressive. Third of all, yeah, we played sloppy, but again, looking at the positives here, I don't think we turned the ball over. You know, we had a bad snap on a punt. 20 got it off for a 0-yard punt, but we didn't throw interception. We didn't lose the ball. We were very secure with the ball. You know, something that, you know, we didn't do last game. So there's a major improvement there. Cons of the game, you know, I didn't realize that ULM was the equivalent of the 1999 Rams, but here we are. So that needs to be shored up. Just defense in general needs to get better, but the offense was playing a very sound game, in my opinion. They did what they had to do, right? I know the play calling leaves a lot and a half to be desired, but silver linings, we didn't turn the ball over. We kept it pretty. We played our game, I'll say. We played our game, and that was enough to win. And that's pretty much all I have for now.
Appreciate it, CJ. Good seeing you today. Thanks for coming by the tailgate. By the way, boys, we had the most people at the tailgate I think we've had all year. Today was a party.
Very impressive, man. Yeah.
It was good to see everyone. I was kind of surprised. And Lane, what's going on out there, man? Give us a play-by-play. It looks dead. I know something's got to be going on because there are people walking around.
Giants, Kev, Doug, Mitch, everybody's shooting the shit.
Just doing their own thing.
Waiting for the touch football game to happen in a little bit.
Oh gosh, I might have to go back just for that.
Yeah, same. Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, and to see goal streak, so that'll be
interesting. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's take a look at the Sunbelt football scores from today, because I was a little bit surprised when you told me that the Golden Eagles ended up dropping that game, but Georgia Southern gets a win over Marshall. That means that Georgia Southern is going bowling and Marshall is not. Georgia State falls to Old Dominion 27-10. Arkansas State, man, they edge out App State 30-29. So I believe that puts Arkansas State at the 6-win mark, and they will go bowling as well. Texas State also going bowling. They get the win over South Alabama 49-26. Troy, man, 28-18 over Southern Miss. They are gonna be hurting out in Hattiesburg, and I'm here to see it. And then James Madison 59-10 over Coastal Carolina, kind of what we expected. So I believe at count that's 9 bowl eligible teams for the Sun Belt this season, if I am not mistaken. Could be wrong there, but anyway, it's going to be bowl season very soon for the Sun Belt. And here's a question. You know, we heard a little bit of a gossip, and I don't know if this is true or not, but let's talk about the bowl picture. You know, it's going to be very close as far as the number of bowl teams needed and the number of bowl teams eligible. And of course, the Cajuns pull off the win. They're now bowl eligible. Do we go bowling? I mean, if we get an invite to, let's say, the Bahamas Bowl, well, I guess that's a pretty bad. I mean, Jamaica just got destroyed. Let's try that again. If we get an invite to a bowl at Yankee Stadium or something, you know, way outside of travel range for the Cajuns, I mean, you can't. We're not in the position, I don't think, to turn down a bowl bid. I don't know, Jerry. I mean, that's a rumor we've been hearing, is that, hey, if it's not close, we might not go bowling, but I just can't see that happening.
You never turn down a bowl bid. I mean, it's on national TV. It's a way to market your team. It's a way to market your program, especially if you play a brand name team like we did last year against TCU and win. That sets you up well for years to come as far as your brand goes. So yeah, no, I mean, straight up. I mean, you gotta accept the bowl. You can't say no to that. You don't want to be like Louisiana Tech in 2012. So
yeah,
you want to say yes.
Look at who we got here, baby. We got
Well.
we got Man About Town on the show. Josh, what's going on, baby? How are you?
Hello. Hello, fellas. Can you hear me?
I can hear
Loud
you.
and
What's
clear.
going on,
What's
man?
up, dude?
All right. So how about it?
It's bittersweet. Like, we're happy we're going bowling, but we're not happy on how it happened. Is that
So I gotta-
wrong?
I don't know if it's wrong or not. I just, I got to collect my thoughts. I was just talking to Kevin, and Kevin made a great point. It's like, at the end of the day, you're talking about two teams who are brutally beaten out. You're talking about two teams who typically play each other close. ULM always comes in here and plays us tough. In our segment on the tailgate show, I told Nick, against the spread, ULM is 12-2 against the Cajuns in Lafayette over the last 14 years. That's quite the trend. So you're talking about two teams that, while I don't consider ULM a rival and never will, because I don't follow them, I don't hate them, I don't really care about what they do outside of when we play them, they have their team prepared to play the Cajuns every single time we lock it up. I'll first want to say, if you don't think that Coach Vincent is a gosh dang ball coach, then you don't know what you're watching. I mean,
I love that guy, man.
If you give that guy resources and players and a little bit of money, he would win anywhere. So I have to say, we would be wrong without acknowledging that the Warhawks came in here and played hard. Were they the most talented team we've seen this year? Absolutely not. But you have to be impressed by the way that they controlled the football. You have to be impressed by how they responded to the times that we made big plays in the game. You take away that big special teams play, and they probably still win the football game. I just think that this game comes down to they executed well when they needed to, up until the end, obviously. We made enough plays to keep ourselves in the game early, and then late, we had some things fall our way. I think the game was a lot more competitive than we maybe thought. I think the game was a little bit more competitive than we probably wanted. Was it beautiful? Absolutely not. But I think in game 12, you don't really get caught up on the little nitpicky tweaks and what was ugly and what was done well. I think when you consider the fact that Lunch went out with an injury, when you consider the fact that the back end of our defense is still completely depleted, when you consider the fact that our offensive line had 6 healthy players, and actually Caden was taking reps at tackle in practice. That's how depleted our offensive line was. So in an emergency situation, they were going to take tight end 1 and put him on the offensive line. I mean, how many times did you see our backs have to stay in and chip, or tight end stay in and chip just to help out Lunch or Walker in the pass game? When you consider all those things in game 12, I'm not going to get caught up on the details. I'm thrilled that we won. Yeah, obviously I can nitpick on a million different things, but I think that the fact that we were able to grind out a win is a testament to how gritty the players are. The group stayed together. You can say all those cliches, but again, ULM showed up to play. They played very hard. They probably overachieved in this game. Probably one of the best games they played this year, if not the best. I'm not going to get too upset that it didn't look beautiful. I'm going to enjoy this win. We extended our season by 1 game. We extended our practice schedule by 3 weeks. This is a net gain. It's a win-win. It's a good thing all around. It was against ULM, and it's a 3-point win. Who gives a shit? We won the football game. We got extra practice time. We're going to be on national television to extend the brand, to promote the brand. This is a win. Hands down, there's really very little negative I have to say.
Where do you want to go bowling, Josh? If you had to pick today, what location would you want to go bowling? If we get put in the Independence Bowl against Louisiana Tech, that to me would be the ultimate, let's go. I'm ready. Sign me up tomorrow. You're on mute, bro.
Excuse me. If this, I hate Tech and I don't want them in our conference. I'll never change from that. But if this season that started 2-6 and was totally miserable for the first 2.5 months, if it ends in the Independence Bowl in Shreveport and we're playing Louisiana Tech, there's interest there. It's a game that you're gonna get a lot of hoopla and hype, and even from the older fans, They'll show up. It's drivable. You can make a day trip in many cases if it's a somewhat midday game. I think that's a positive. I think if you go to New Orleans for somehow you end up in New Orleans, and I know some of the projections don't have us there, but if you end up in New Orleans, I think that's a great spot. And I would say as far as Mobile, if you end up in Mobile, I think a lot of us travel. I would. Mobile is very underrated as far as city goes. But if I had to pick today, I would say based on everything that they're saying and based on what our opponent would be, I think Independence Bowl probably makes the most sense and I think draws the most attention from our fans.
Is that tomorrow night, by the way? When do they pick the bowls?
Next week.
After the
conference championship
after the
games.
conference championship games.
Yeah, because what they'll do is they'll pick the CFP first, and then they'll do the bowl
Right,
games after.
right.
Like whoever doesn't make the CFP, they'll put them in the bowls.
But we'll be hearing rumblings of stuff probably later this week as we get closer to that. But you're right. It's going to be next week.
I'm ecstatic we're in a bowl.
I mean, I know that's what
I am.
After 2-6, are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
and look, the one thing, and Josh, I heard everything you mentioned about today, and and I don't want to dig into the negatives. The one thing that frustrated me, and I think a lot of the anger came out in me with today, was I don't like getting outgained by 200 yards to ULM. I just don't. Like, that's where my issue was. Like, if it weren't for that 76-yard touchdown, I think they might have outgained us by like 250 to 300 yards.
I think that's where you saw the safety help. I think that's where you saw Cortland Flowers, because Court wasn't in the game today, right?
Well,
So we're
I don't
missing
think- I don't
Court,
think
we're
he
missing
played.
Tyree.
No.
I think that's where you started to see a little bit of that because, I mean,
no,
Brent
Flowers
Gordon
did play.
Jr. was a man. He was one-on-one against their best player, and he made some plays, but there's only a certain number of plays you can make when Arminta's just throwing it up and the ball just falls in his breadbasket.
Well, Brent Gordon Jr. has been one of the best tacklers, if not the best tackler on the football team. And going back to the run, when have we been good against the run? I'm really not surprised that they were able to run on us, especially considering their situation at quarterback down to QB3. And again, shout out to 10. I thought he played a whale of a game for ULM. They did just enough in the deep pass game to get our defense stretched, to get that front seven stretched to where it further exacerbated our situation up front. We haven't been good against the run all year. The defensive line is still a liability for us. And good coaches exploit what they see on film. And I'll go back to what I said about Coach Vincent. If you don't think that guy's a ball coach, I don't know what you're watching.
Got a question.
You're not a ball fan if that's the case.
No, he's done a hell of a job there.
Everything he did tonight exploited the weaknesses that we had. I mean, there wasn't one offensive drive where I thought, well, he lost the plot. I mean, this is not going to work against this defense.
If he were coaching against us and he were the Arkansas State coach last week, we'd have lost by 30 points.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you guys this. Do you think Brian Vincent outcoached us today?
Absolutely. But
I think
that's
so.
that's not something that's unusual. I typically feel that way after. Now, look, we're more critical. We're more critical on our own than we would. Because I'm not watching Brian Vincent as much as I'm watching Dez.
I was about to say that. We see our play calling every game. We don't see his.
I just thought it was extraordinary. The way I thought that their game plan was exactly what it should have been in order to be effective against our defense. I thought they attacked exactly what they needed to attack. Now, I will say this. I'll give Arminta a lot of credit for going after Brent Gordon Jr., but Brent Gordon Jr. was left on an island a lot of times in the game.
Exactly.
So in many cases, it was his only option to exploit a one-on-one. And look, Brent got burnt on that long pass. What was that, late in the third quarter?
But I think
He got
at the
absolutely
same
torched.
time, that was a beautiful
He made
pass.
plenty of plays.
Oh, he put
No,
it.
threw a
He
great
put it
ball.
on the money.
It was a great ball. And that's
He
what
put it
I'm
on the
saying.
money.
I think more praise needs to be given to ULM than criticism needs to be given to the team, our team. We didn't play well. No, we didn't. But we played well enough to win. But also, you can't discount what ULM did on the field today. I mean, you just can't. You'd be a sore winner or bad winner, however you want to look at it, if you did not give the Warhawks their due because they played well. They played well enough to win. Honestly, we just made a couple of plays that they did.
I think you're right. I think it's like T-Sab complaining about their close game with Western Kentucky. Like at some point, you have to give Western Kentucky credit on what they were able to do against them and hold their, offense to 13, 17 points. So No, I agree with you, man. And I think again, the brand of ULM and them being terrible at the bottom of the conference every year sometimes just gets in our head too, because we expect to blow them out every year. Um, and we're not good enough to blow them out, right? You know, I mean, let's be honest with it.
Well,
They
and then
take
also
us, we're their biggest rival, dude.
this coaching staff is very week to week. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying we coach based on the team that we're playing, and that's fine. I think that we coached against a certain team, and I think a different team showed up in Lafayette today. Again, who's picking the third string quarterback to throw dimes literally all game? I mean, this wasn't something that just happened one time in the first quarter. There were several throws that he put in places that only his receivers could catch the ball.
Exactly.
And our defensive guys could not make a play on the ball. So again, I'm just going to continue to say that this is not a cop-out. I'm not trying to like deflect criticism. They made big plays. A lot of their scoring opportunities came from just them making a play that we couldn't make. And sometimes that's how it goes. And it went that way tonight.
I think what makes it unusual is that their offense had not really had many explosive plays this year. I mean, scoring 14 points a game, not being able to move the football consistently throughout the year. I mean, I've watched some of their games and there's nothing special about it. But when I saw them do that against us, especially after coming off a week where with the depleted defense we had last week with suspensions and some guys banged up, how we played the game of the season at Arkansas State, that's what surprised me. Those two factors coming in with an offense that really, again, doesn't have explosive plays, and we played so well last week. I expected to hold this team to 14 to 17 points. And when they scored on those first two drives, and they did it at ease, first drive they threw on us, second drive they gashed us down the middle with the run game. That's when I'm like, what in the world's going on? But I will give credit to our defense. We adjusted when it mattered. And we made some key stops in the second half. But I'm going to say this, guys. The way their offense moved the ball and some of the schemes to your point, Josh, about how they exploited our defense, I do kind of wonder where that offense was all year. How were they a 3-9 team? Because if that type of offense that was able to move the ball on us today, and I know matchups mean a lot, I would have expected at least 2 or 3 more wins on their schedule against the competition or the similar competition that we faced.
And maybe without some of those injuries, they do have. Look, you got to remember this team started out, I think it was 3-1 or 4-1. They had a nice beginning to their season. I'm going to give you an example about the execution that I'm talking about. On the slant touchdown that went for 7, I don't know, it was over the middle and they hit him in between the seams. The ball was in an absolutely perfect place. And I don't remember the kid that caught the ball. I think it was a transfer from South Carolina or something. He catches the ball literally without having to move anything on his body. Hits it right in the hands. Now, Lake Bates took an absolutely horrible angle on the tackle attempt. I will give you that. But the pass created the bad angle in many respects. And it was such a well-designed play. Ball was put exactly where it needed to be. The defense had completely vacated the right side of the field, and he scores. That's just executing a well-drawn-up play. Sometimes you can't defend it, especially when you got, the fourth-string guy in there who's played, 6 total quarters of college football. I mean, that happens. I'm not excusing it. I'm not trying to say, we're young, we're injured, we're this, we're that. I'm not saying all that. If we lost the game, maybe we're having a different conversation. I still think you got to reward your guys for getting out there, playing the game, busting their ass, coming through with a win, right? Finding a way to win, down 25% of the starting lineup. Yeah, you're playing against ULM, whatever. I still think that you got to reward that. You got to honor that. That it's game 12. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's dealing with something. Everybody has the other tape on the other team. I didn't love watching the game. I thought there was a million things I could have bitched about. But at the end of the day, ULM executed on offense. Nobody can take that away from them.
And I think that's what was frustrating. That's what was frustrating, I think, for a lot of people, is that they execute on offense. We get the ball back, and then we start doing this. Let's run up the middle for a loss of 2. Let's run up to the left for a loss of 3. Let's pass the ball 3 yards for when we need 12. That's what pisses us off. It's when you turn it. Okay, so we get the ball back and we do nothing. That's what pisses me off. And I think that's what pisses a lot of people off.
I will say how ironic is it in overtime that it was Hunter Herring that threw the interception where Brent Gordon picked it off to set us up for the game-winning field goal, a former quarterback of ours. I mean, almost like that was like sweet justice when you really think about it.
I can't hate on him.
That's my one criticism about ULM tonight. You know, I thought their defense played so hard. I thought their front seven was as good as we thought they were going to be. I thought their play calling on that drive was suspect.
Run the damn ball, bro.
You were gashing the defensive line. You had us guessing. Your tight ends were effective. And you start doing this trickery with the Wildcat and all this stuff. I just don't understand why they got away from what was working. These coaches outcoached themselves so many times.
I know. Smartest man in the room syndrome.
Do what's working, man. And look, I know we stacked the box and it was a condensed part of the field. But damn, like, just get it out on the edge. It was working. And if that doesn't work, you know.
Dude.
I don't know.
They killed us. They killed us in the flat tonight all game, including overtime. That overtime to the first play was a play action rollout. It was a bootleg to the flat, to the 7-yard line. They killed us in the flat today. Killed us in space.
Plenty that can be said about that, and you're not wrong about that. But you know.
But why not stick with that? Is what I'm saying. You know.
If you you know, it's kind of where I'm. It's game 12. If you can't be happy about a win like tonight, albeit ugly, can't be happy about a win like tonight, you know, why are you watching football? You know, I mean, it's just like, you got to be able to enjoy this stuff. You got to be able to enjoy these gritty wins, and you got to be able to be happy for a guy like Caden and a guy like Lunch and a guy like Sampson, by the way, who we absolutely destroyed after 3 games. We thought, you know, we said that he didn't have it in him. He didn't love football. You know, there are certain guys on this team that I pull for, you know, obviously from personal relationships, but others that kind of come from getting beat up by the fans or, you know, negative connotation with those guys. And then they step up and they become players that contribute. And you got to be able to root for those kids. If you can't do it, then you got to choose another hobby.
This
is something to be happy about. I'm not going to be negative tonight at all.
Hey, well, Jared, before you go, let me go over to, because we got some speakers in the queue, and I do want to get to them. Bill Davis's chin hair is actually out there, and so is albino. But let's go to Bill Davis's chin hair. What's going on, man? I guess he chickened out. Okay, we'll wait for albino to come back in. Oh, there he is. Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, I'm on. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, you're good. What's up?
What's going on?
Man, this motherfucker, Bill Davis, man, where would we be without him? He is, I mean, putting the team on his back when we need him most.
That's what I'm saying, baby. Bill is the man. Let's just hope we can keep him. That's all I'm saying. He's not a senior, right? Bill's not a senior.
No, he's a junior.
Junior.
Well,
also, what the fuck happened to Lunch?
Ankle.
Yeah.
Ankle
he was definitely injured. You could tell on
he was
the broadcast he was not feeling well. So they basically brought in Walker at that point because I don't think he could. I mean, he looked like he was struggling.
Yeah, he was. I mean, probably the quarter before he was limping a few times. He took some hits, and that by that time, when you're banged up that much, you don't want to risk getting hurt even more. So that's when they put Walker in to kind of let him heal up a little bit on the sideline, get treatment or whatever he needed. So, yeah, that's what it was. He had some ankle issues.
Yeah, speaking of Walker, I mean, I know we don't put our trust in him anymore, but why don't we throw the ball when he's in? It's all dinks and dumps and runs.
Well, what pisses me off more, honest, is dink and dunk. As you said, when we need 12, we throw a 3-yard out route. Like, I don't understand. I'm with you, man. I don't understand. And maybe it is a lack of trust. Maybe they didn't want him to turn it over again, but I don't know, man. That's a great question.
All right, I'm done. Have a good night.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks for chiming in. We do have the brand ambassador here. Let me unmute you. Caden Jensen is with us on the show. Actually, I think, Caden, you might have to unmute yourself on the screen. There you go. What's going on, man? How are you?
Doing good, guys. What's up?
This is my favorite comment tonight. Hold on. Let me go back to it. Did you see your boy? Here we go. Did you see y'all's boy Jensen stand up all those ULM defenders? Dude, you talked about ULM having a pretty good defense, and I kind of ignored you, if I'm being honest with you. But those guys were pretty good, and you built up to a bunch of them.
Yeah, I mean, my top lip and my bottom lip on my neck, being swollen right now. I think that'll admit that they hit pretty hard, but yeah, I mean they played freaking really hard, and they were doing I don't know if y'all could tell, but they were doing so much stuff on defense, like twisting guys over, and so I mean, it was just freaking crazy.
Yeah, they do that. I mean, obviously, I don't think they have the talent on defense that we have, but they do the weird stuff. And I think that, I mean, hell, it threw me off a little bit. But talk to us a little bit about the game tonight. Is that how you expected it to go? Because I think all of us, we hate ULM and we think we should always blow them up by 50. So when it's a close game, we're happy we won, but we're like, shit, man, we just had to go to overtime with ULM. Is that kind of how you guys expected that game to go?
I mean, we expect to win. So I'll start it off there, but our expectations are high. So we expected to start out fast and finish fast. And so, on offense, there was times where we didn't do that. At this point of the year, with these games stacking up and the way that the stuff's been ending out and folding out, I mean, this win, kind of characterizes this team as far as it's going to get done regardless. And so, we expected to be more successful and put up more points, but at the end of the day, there's a decision that had to be made. I think we just got to win. It's a dogfight. We got to understand it's going to be a dogfight. And so, but yeah, I mean, they played really hard. Personally, I remember going into this game. I remember last year, when we were rolling and we were playing there. Well, what? And we had a really good team then, and still it was like a super close game, pretty much for the whole game. And so, I think it's tomorrow. Myself and a lot of those guys had realized that. So, this game is different. This is a calendar game for them. This is their Super Bowl, so it's. I mean, we knew they were going to throw everything to us. In that first half, they threw everything out there. So it was pretty evident. So. We just came out on top with the team win. All three phases support each other at the end of the day.
I'm glad you said that because I was shit talking with the ULM fan because they've been all over me on social media today, which is funny. They tagged me in a post, and then when I responded, they said, "Oh, you're so sensitive." I'm like, "Bro, you brought me into this conversation." But they said, "Oh, next thing you're gonna say it's our Super Bowl game, bro. You had nothing else to play for." I mean, it's the fact. Like you had nothing else to play for except to ruin our bowl chances, and they played like it. I gotta say, Armenta, he showed up today, man. He was very impressive, and you also have to give credit to Walker because I'm sure he wasn't planning on getting into the game today, but dude showed up and did what he had to do.
Yeah, I mean I was just talking with Jake, by the way. He says to say what's up, guys.
That's my boy.
There's no bad blood there whatsoever. He said to tell you what's up.
All right, that's my boy. Okay.
Yeah. No, I was talking with Jake, and you hate to see Lunch kind of get hurt, and because that's the heart, that's the heart of our offense. So, but it's kind of like a storybook kind of finish to that game with Walker coming in, the season, the adversity that he faced early on, and sticking with it throughout the year and driving us down there to get us in position to win the game. That's what it's about. So we were happy to see him in there. He took control. He got in the huddle and was like, he looked at everyone. He's like, guys, let's fucking do this. Like it's time. Like it's. We know what we got to do. So we did it.
I love that, man. I do have to give a shout out to you through the equipment room guys because they got us some sweet threads. They fit us out today. I mean, we're looking pretty sweet. So I'm gonna actually be wearing. I would say I'd be wearing more than just my red hoodies, but that's all I'm gonna wear on the show anyway. So it's just a different red hoodie. But no, they came back today. They had some gumbo. I hope you get some gumbo. Your dad's sausage, that hog sausage, was sick. That smoked fish dip, dude. If you hadn't had it today, go get some because that was ridiculous. But we enjoyed hosting those guys, the equipment guys today. Man, they do a hell of a job. So I want to give you a shout out to tell the equipment guys how great of a job they do.
For sure. I mean, the amount of work that goes on behind the scenes, and even the work that y'all see, it's just crazy. There's so many things. There's so many things that just go on, and they make it go. And so they're really cool guys. Me and Ethan, we're pretty tight. They're pretty cool guys.
That's awesome. All right, last question I have for you before you go indulge in some. Hopefully, you got something to smoke out there, right? Do we have some smokes for you guys?
Yeah, no, we got it done in the indoor, but
all right.
That was
fair enough. Well, we got plenty of food out there for you, but asking as far as bowl games go. Now I know this is just I'm just asking this off the cuff. If you got to go bowling somewhere, where would it be? Where do you want to go bowling, Caden Jensen, if you had an ideal bowl game? And I guess we're looking more at location, not necessarily the name of the bowl. Where do you want to go?
I mean, I can tell you where I don't want to go.
Yeah, go ahead with that. That's fine.
I don't, I love the experience. I don't want to go back up to New Mexico. I'll say that, or go to New Mexico. I think we can get out the state, maybe go past Shreveport. I don't know if I want to experience the Shreveport Bowl, but I feel like something like Boca Raton's been thrown out there. I feel like that'd be pretty fun. Obviously, I think there was a prediction a while back of somewhere back in Texas, like the Frisco or something like that. I don't know if that's the correct name, but that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, Frisco, man. Mm-hmm. That's an easy drive for me and your parents.
Yeah, it's an easy drive. I got some family there, and it's a pretty cool area. Dallas is a pretty cool area. Frisco's a pretty cool area, but obviously, I'm just happy that we're in the position to have that as a possibility. So, really, anywhere
Jerry,
at this point, honestly.
Oh, well, first of all, hopefully you get a sweet swag pack because those things they'll fit you out pretty well. Jerry, anything else before we go?
No, first of all, Caden, congratulations on the win today. Look, I'm gonna admit I was a little critical early on because I was just like, every time we play ULM, I hate pulling my hair out because they're one of those teams where I hate hearing their fans have trash talked us for whatever reason all season from our attendance, which they should be the last school talking about attendance. They were trashing us when we lost to Rice, when they beat a team that I don't even know if they're in Division 2. And then and we were able to come back and beat them today. So I'm glad we were able to get the W. I did want to say that it was nice to see you have a few receptions. You were pretty physical at the line of scrimmage. And I felt that you guys in the run game got a lot better as the game went on, and the perseverance, not just today, but the last 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, if you go back on our post game after Troy, where we're sitting here with a 2-6 record, and we were worried, like, do we end the season 3-9, 4-8 with a losing record? I think Cole made a point of coming back from a 4% chance to win the next 4 games. Here we are. We beat all odds and we won 4 straight, and we're most likely going to a bowl game. But I wanted to ask you, man, the focus in that locker room from going 2-5, 2-6 until now, I think it really resonates more in the internal bond that you have with your teammates and you guys have in that locker room. I just wanted to, during these last 4 weeks, man, just talk about where you were leaving Troy at 2-6 and where you are now as far as the mindset as you won each game each week to this moment to put yourself in bowl contention.
For sure. I'm going to start by saying I'm a firm believer that it started up top. It started with our head coach. I think Coach Des has done an amazing job of leading this team. I feel like he's done an amazing job of planting the belief in all of our players. And a good thing is the belief that he instilled in us. There was already a firm foundation for that because of the tight knit, the closest that we had as a team. And so when we started the way we did and we faced the adversity we did, not only with the losses, but I'm going to shout out the offensive line too. I've never known a team that has had this many injuries in a specific group like the offensive line, let alone any group, let alone the offensive line. And so the fact that they have persevered and they have allowed this team to do what they've done, that's big, and that should be recognized. So, you got guys like Andrew Martinez stepping up and playing center and playing in a game today. Even I just saw a comment like their defense does so much stuff, and it's for any guy like that can be overwhelming. But he locked it in, and it's just little things like that. We have so much pride within each other with the amount of work that we put in. So many people in that facility, in that building, in this community have sweat equity within this program. And so there was a sense of pride. It's a Cajun pride that we weren't going to just roll over. There's so many other teams in college football that will start out that way and just chalk it up to the next season. But, it was a collective decision where it's like, no, we're not going to do this. Like, we're going to hang another banner in the indoor. We're going to play for a championship. We're going to play for a bowl championship. Like, that's one of our major goals. And we had a sense of pride. Well, we're not going to look my brother in the eye and say, like, I'm not willing to die. Like, at the end of the day, it came down to a group of guys that were just willing to die and fight for each other. And so, starting out the way we did and finishing the way we did, it's just unseen. And so I feel like that's what's, makes me most proud to be part of this team, be part of this community, because, it's tough to see, college football the way it is now, and guys are just getting up and leaving and leaving when things get tough. But the one thing about this team is this team rallies. So it starts up top. It starts with Dez. We're all bought into what he says and what he leads into us, and so it's good when you got a leader like him and it can trickle down and create like a little ripple with them. So I'm very proud of our guys, and this is what we needed.
And let's not forget that you played a huge role in that yourself. The presence that you bring to the locker room, I'm sure, as a team player and a great teammate that you are, resonates with your teammates. I mean, you are a leader amongst a lot of those players, man. I mean, and we see it on the field. When you flex your muscles and you're ready to go. I've seen you lead the pregame huddle. That resonates, man. That resonates. And so I wanted to compliment you on your leadership as well. You've done a heck of a job. I remember after the Missouri game, it was probably one of our worst games of the year. And one of the things you said that I remember was the following week, you said it's business as usual, focused on the next game. As bad as it was, we're focused on the next game. So kudos to you as well, Caden, for the leadership that you brought to this locker room. And as fans, we get to enjoy 3 more weeks of talking UL football because of the type of leadership that you yourself brought as well, man.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, shut up, Jerry. Okay, so as I was saying, every time Jerry says something nice, I'm just like, shut up, Jerry. Like, we're not getting
Nick loves it. Don't let him get to he loves it. No,
last question I really do have for you. One of our former linemen asking about how weird the ULM's defense looked in the run game, and you kind of touched on that a little bit, but especially for somebody who, like Martinez, who, by the way, I mean, I'm going to say he's my close second favorite player on the team right now because that dude is just a dude. But talk about, for somebody like him or even you, the weird looks that they gave you in the run game.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you got a center that has the flow like Martinez has, I think that kind of puts you ahead of the sticks already. That flow, that hair, that mullet. So I feel like we're kind of got to step up on that fact. But seriously though, their defense, we knew. They changed schematically within the past two to 3 weeks. And later after their season, they kind of changed the things on defense. And so we had known from the film that going in that every single play it's either going to be back or plug or DT twist, twist with the tackles in the end. So that was something that we had to just scheme out. They got their rover in the backfield, kind of hovering over the running back, and so they did a lot of stuff. It's sick to say they pretty much emptied the clip, but at the end of the day, it kind of just came down to our rules. And so what was said, especially in the offensive line room, was that we just have to make high-speed decisions. At the end of the day, you just got to fit for it. And if we're all on paper, if we're all wrong, then we're all right. So we've got talented enough backs to make guys miss in the hole and make safeties miss. And so we knew as a front seven, really, that we needed to just create movement. And so also looking into the player personnel on their team, we knew that their defensive line, specifically I forget what number it is, but they've got some guys that play with some incredible motor at times. And so we knew that coming out in the game, that they were coming out shoot and ready to play. And so we knew that if we could just get a jump on these guys, that they'll eventually kind of quit. And so I think with the close game, we didn't see that, which was good because it was good to kind of see and take them on. But we just started up front with the movement and honestly, it kind of came down to just staying true to us and staying true to our techniques and just moving on the run and making high-speed decisions because they were looping and doing all that kind of stuff in the plugs and they were trying to get us off our game. But it's one of those things to where, they'll get a tackle for loss because they looped into the gap and it was schemed up. But then they'll also get gashed when they've got 2 guys in the C gap. So it's kind of a give and take right there. But I feel like overall we did a good job once we kind of settled in, just take control and just gapping it out.
Caden Jensen, go enjoy the dub tonight, man. And by the way, I'm going to give my little, feelings speech now, dude. Your family's awesome. They've invited me in like I'm one of theirs. I saw your mom, your grandma, your stepmom, your dad. Like your dad and I text like we're best friends now. So, dude, it's been awesome welcoming you into my family and your guys welcoming us into your family. So let's do it again, man. Let's do it one more time this season.
Yeah, man, it's been a blessing to be a part, be a part of this, what y'all got going on. So I respect it, and I know the community respects it, and the team does. So I'm just blessed to kind of be in the position and be along for the ride.
Awesome, man. Have a good night, dude.
Yeah. See y'all.
How awesome is that, Jerry? Man, this is too fun.
Man,
we have
shut
too
up,
much fun
Nick.
doing this shit, bro.
Shut up, Nick. Man.
I'm
just returning the favor, man. Nothing but love. But you know what? No, to your point, this is why we do what we do, brother. This is why we do what we do, man. And have guys like Caden and to hear you kind of go on the inside, right? I mean, look, 2-6 a month ago. A lot of teams hang it up and say, maybe next year we'll forget about it and just focus. This team didn't quit. That is the one saving grace of that, the rougher start we had with some of those games early on, like losing to Rice in Eastern Michigan, how these guys fought back and every week, it was one game at a time, playoff mode, 4% chance of winning out, Nick. 4 for 4, dude.
Jerry, you know what? All I got to say is I'm ready to play some football.
Hey,
I'm ready to go play some football. I'm ready
Let's
to go
win a
back to
trophy, man.
I'm ready. Well, no, I'm talking about going to the tailgate.
Oh, yes, I am too. Yes.
You ready to go do that?
Let's go
All
play
right.
some football.
Look,
Yep.
I'm going to hang up on you guys in the Twitter space. Appreciate y'all for chiming in tonight. Let me end that so I can get some music on the pod tonight. We got a little bit of Mary Chapin Carpenter to take us out on a Louisiana Saturday night. Boys and girls, it has been fun. The Cajuns are bowl eligible. We're going bowling. It has been fun. It was hard. It was not all fun during the game, but we're about to go have some fun with the brand ambassador, his family, and all the fans that are at a Cajun field. For all the boys out there, Cole, Lane, and Josh, we got Jerry here. Lane doesn't know we're calling in tonight. Lane, we're going over there to play some football, baby. So y'all get ready for us.
And we're coming, bringing you a birthday cake too. Sing
Yes,
happy
sir.
birthday.
We're gonna sing
By
happy
the way,
birthday.
happy birthday to Lane.
Yes,
Boy,
happy
Lane.
birthday, Lane. He's turning 53 today. Just kidding, 33. Happy birthday,
We got
buddy.
be smoking some cigars when y'all get out here too.
Sounds good. I'm ready to smoke a stogie. Blake, missed you too, buddy. Wish we could have seen you, but we'll catch you. Hey, if you're still at the tailgate, we'll be out there in a few minutes. For all the boys, including Jerry, I am Nicholas. Y'all have a good night. And until next time, as always, go Cajuns.